thinking about fertility isn't the same as preparing for it. This is the real question behind having children. I'm Heather Grzych. I'm an author, an Ayurvedic practitioner, and I'm the host of the Wisdom of the Body podcast. And I'm really happy that you're here because we need to rewrite some narratives for some people. And this episode is coming out at a time when there's a lot of conversation about fertility, a lot of data about fertility out there. People are having fewer children. That's true. People are having fewer children than they used to. And almost every time I bring that up, I get the same question. Why? I wrote a fertility book, so this question comes up a lot with me and my clients as well. So why are people having fewer children? There are a lot of practical answers to that question. People are having children later. There's financial pressure that a lot of people feel these days. There's more uncertainty about the future. And there are more life paths available. So if we decide that we don't want to have kids, there's a whole bunch of other things that we could do. But I don't think that any of those answers fully captures what's happening. Because when you actually talk to people, something much more specific comes up. It's not just that they don't want children. It's that they don't feel ready for what a child would require of them. And underneath that, there's another question, one that people don't always say directly. It's this: will I regret it? Yeah. Some people ask, will I regret having a child? Others ask, will I regret not having one? And what makes this so difficult is that you're being asked to make a life-altering decision without having access to the full experience of what that life will actually feel like. We don't talk about this much, but there's research suggesting that a small percentage of parents, somewhere around 5 or 10%, sometimes higher depending on the study that you see, say that they would not make the same decision again. And that can sound very alarming at first. But what's important is that understanding what that regret actually reflects. Because in most cases, it is not about not loving their child. It's about the conditions that they were living in when they became a parent. The level of support, the level of exhaustion, the loss of structure or identity without anything to replace it. And at the same time, there's another truth that needs to be said. There's a dimension of having a child that you cannot fully understand until you experience it. I probably roll my eyes. I would roll my eyes at that if someone said that to me before I had a child. You can think about it. You can observe other people doing it. You can even try to imagine it and visualize it. But there is a layer of it, relational, emotional, and even physical, that you don't actually know until you're in it. And for many people, there's something about having a child that is profoundly meaningful, not because it's easy, not because it resolves your life in some way, but because it reorganizes your sense of connection, your sense of responsibility and care in a way that is hard to replicate anywhere else. So this decision, it feels so hard. And you're now holding two things at once. You can't fully know what this experience will be like, and you're being asked to decide anyway. And that's what makes this a real threshold moment. And that's why so many people stay in kind of a loop of thinking and planning and delaying and trying to get to certainty before they do anything, before they move. And this is where I see a lot of people get stuck. because they start believing that thinking about their fertility is the same as preparing for it, but it's not. Because you can spend years researching, freaking yourself out with all the data about declining fertility globally, about what people say is influencing it, or trying to find the perfect partner, planning, thinking about timelines. And none of that actually changes your actual capacity to live that life. Real preparation is actually much less dramatic. Now, these days it's very dramatic because of egg freezing, but real preparation for your fertility, it's not very dramatic. It's not a single decision. It's how you're living your life right now. It's your energy. It's your sleep. It's your daily rhythms. It's your ability to sustain care over time and your ability to read when the timing is right. Because if your current life is overstimulated, overcommitted, inconsistent, not aligned, that does not magically change when a child arrives. No, it doesn't. So instead of asking, am I ready? A more useful question might be something else. Is my life, my overall life, is it actually becoming more supportive of the kind of responsibility that I'm considering? Not perfectly, but gradually. Because what actually determines how you experience a major life change is not just the decision itself, but it's the foundation that you bring into it. Repatterning, which is what would happen in the case of being a person who doesn't have a child to being a person who does have a child, repatterning is different from these big dramatic life events that we imagine are going to change our lives. Those events may come unexpectedly or expectedly, but what determines how we actually move through them and who we are on the other side, it's shaped long before they happen. It's shaped by our daily patterns, by how you organize your life on an ordinary day in an ordinary way. Yeah? Because I've said this before, when you have an event like this, it doesn't create who you are, it just reveals who you are. So if you find yourself in this question, as many people do, whether or not to have a child, you don't have to solve your entire fertility future today. You don't, but you can start paying attention to your present life. What would make your life feel more stable, more supported, more clear, connected, more able to hold responsibility and not just to imagine it, but to hold it. So let's bring this back into your body for a moment. Feel your legs. Very simple. Just feel your legs. Really, really feel them. And these legs carry you forward. Step by step, one step at a time. And with these big life decisions, even the ones like this one about whether or not to have a child, or planning for your fertility, or trying to think through if you're going to freeze your eggs, or get the sperm donor, or break up with the guy, or find the girl, or save your sperm, whatever. Even with these big life decisions, this is still how movement happens, one step at a time. Now, place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. And take 3 slow breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more breath like that. Inhale, exhale. Let yourself come back to the present moment. You can keep your hand on your chest and your belly if you want, But come back to the present moment. Meet us here, not the future, not the timeline, just here. You don't need to fully understand what it means to have a child in order to decide. But you do need to be building a life that can hold something that you cannot fully predict. If this episode resonated with you, follow Wisdom of the Body and share it with someone who may be asking themselves the same question. And if you want, you can check out my book, The Ayurvedic Guide to Fertility, available on Amazon. And I'll see you in the next conversation. Thank you for tuning in and dropping in with us today. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. I really want to hear your feedback. Visit heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, GRZYCH.com. And meet me here next time on the Wisdom of the Body.